Hi, Nina.
Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
You might want to press pause on the recording just until everybody comes. Otherwise,
All right.
will be oh crap.
No.
There we go.
There you go.
So what are we doing now? Let's just see if we can. Let me just see if. Okay, there we go. Okay.
How do I get out of this huge thing?
How did we get out of?
Oh, sorry. No, I forgot I wasn't on mute. Sorry. Carry on.
So I've just put a couple of slides together for you guys. And I'm by no means the expert on any of this. It's just, I suppose, like with RTT, if you feel it and you've got it, then actually you should probably try and use it. So it's just a couple of things that I suppose I've learned on in the last few years. Some of them I've done really well. Some of them I've done really badly. Some of them I didn't do what I should have done. Some of them I did do what I should have done, and I did it twice as well as I should have. So it's all kind of a little bit of a hodgepodge of, probably a lot of them are things I haven't done right the first time, which I understand now, but I didn't do the first time, and how to kind of correct those. So I think you guys are all like, you've qualified as your as an RTT therapist, and you're all sitting and you're going like, now what? And you using the term about yourselves that you're in debt. You've like borrowed money, you're in debt, you've taken money from your savings, or you robbed your mortgage account, or you did something, but in your heads that you are in debt, and you have a piece of paper, and it's, what do you do with this piece? What do you do with this piece of paper? And you sit there going like, where am I? How do I move from being in debt to an RTT therapist? And I think obviously the feelings of inadequacy creep in. You get completely overwhelmed by it all. And you have graduate envy because you're on the Facebook page and you're on the WhatsApp groups and everybody's doing all these amazing things, and you're going, ah. And one of the other things is that very often you're stuck in your day job. And one of the things about RTT is that we wanted to get out of our day jobs. We really did. So I think a lot of us have come into RTT with a qualification, and we're like hampered down by these thoughts. And I think that you've actually got to take those thoughts and you've got to push them to one side, and you've got to start thinking of yourself in a better way, in a different way. And instead of being in debt, you've got to say, you know, I took a loan, and some borrowings are strategic. You have a mortgage because you're buying a home, you get financed because of your car. So there is such a thing called strategic debt, and normally strategic debt is because you're acquiring an asset. And I think what you have to start thinking about is that your RTT training is an asset, and it's something that you have self-invested in. So as opposed to going around going, oh, I'm in debt. No, I've actually bought a whole lot of IP, which is an asset to me. And I think that's the way we have to start thinking about it. And you know, the other thing is that we've all had the courage to retrain. None of us, from what I could see, most of us are in the, I don't want to be rude now, but we're not 19, 20-year-olds. You know, we've come through life and we are pivoting and we are soaking up this new knowledge, and it's taken us courage. And I think we really have to give ourselves a little bit more credit for that, because we're not the ones that want to be stuck in our day jobs. And it's the beginning of a really new, exciting time for us. It's an opportunity to relearn. I think it's been, we've been very brave in taking these steps into saying we want to become RTT therapists. And it's okay to be overwhelmed. You know, it really is okay, because nobody knows everything at the beginning. You know, and it's also, you don't know what you don't know until you find out you don't know it, and then you go, okay, I need to learn it. And I think that we need to be more proud of ourselves and our new friends and our new tribe, because I think also the way that we interact and we are responding and we're helping one another, I think that has been a huge positive for a lot of us. I think we've had a lot of reaffirmation of what fantastic people we are, how we interact with people, because I think you do get to a point where you get stuck a little bit in a rut, and you know, people come along and give you a fresh perspective. We're working on our freedom matrix, and your freedom matrix it's about pricing yourself and your income and where do you want to be to get that freedom matrix. And a freedom matrix on itself is a little workshop. I'm happy to do that with people, either one-on-one or in a group, because I really think when I try to break this down in my mind, there was more than just kind of one session here. So we can talk about doing some more things later, but your freedom matrix is important, and just use the word freedom. You're going to be giving yourself the freedom, and you're going to be growing a business. So I really think, we've qualified and we've got all of these rules of the mind, and I think we really need to move ourselves from the one column to the other column, and we need to get unstuck in the things we say to ourselves. I'm in debt, I'm overwhelmed, everybody else in the group is doing so much better than me, I can't give up my day job, I'm not earning enough money. We need to stop thinking like that. And the reason why we need to stop thinking like that is because there's been I can just hear music or something.
Oh, that's me. Well, it's
Is it
not
just
me. No, it's Edward. Hold on. There's
Okay.
ducks being pulled into a pond.
Okay, here we go. There's been a 38% increase in telehealth since COVID. 38%. And 67% of patients would now prefer virtual care. And before COVID, virtual care wasn't the norm, it was an exception. All care, medical care, and those people, we actually got up out of our homes, we got into our cars and we drove somewhere for medical care. And having Zoom calls and Zoom treatment, everything, it was almost unheard of. So the whole world has had to shift now to not only doing it, but also realizing that it can be done. In the digital healthcare industry, 14.6 billion in 2021, and they're expecting it to grow to 767 billion by 2030. So that's 8 years. That's how much they're expecting it to grow by. So if you ever doubted why you've made this switch, it's because the world needs us and wants us. So that's why I always say to people, when I think of these facts and these theories, I mean, how do you feel about being in this industry now? It's an industry that has got phenomenal potential, phenomenal growth, and it's not going to slow down. So I think for us as RTT hypnotherapists, it's the ideal time to enter the market, and to enter the market with a new career and a new job, because it sounds a bit weird, so the world's waiting for us, but our clients are a growth sector, and unfortunately, the recession and the problems that they have, and the way the world's working, the healthcare industry is unfortunately going to be one of the ones that grows. So sad as it is, our solutions is in a growing market. Oh shit, if I pushed the figures the right way, it would go. Okay, so now that you understand, well, now that you've kind of got your head around the fact that you should be an RTT therapist, you have the right mind frame, you have the right mindset, you understand that there are clients out there, you understand that your profession is needed. These are the 4 things I think that will create success in your business, and these are the 4 anchor points that I've always, or the 4 legs of my table. Your imagination. If you don't have imagination, or you don't tap into your imagination, you will never. You need to start imagining, what is my business going to look like? How successful is my business going to be? What does my practice look like? What do my clients look like? How am I going to help people? You need to start imagining these things. You need to start moving yourself from point A to point B. The whole world is transactional. There's always there's a person that gives a product or service, and there's a recipient. There's always a transaction. And what you need to do is put your imagination in being the best possible product that's going to go through that glass pipeline. So what are your personalities, your possibilities of this business? Who are your clients? Where are you going to find them? And I think you need to visualize in your imagination as if you've actually already achieved this. Don't think and get stuck in I should have, could have, whatever. This is what my practice is going to look like. These are how many clients I'm dealing with. These are who my clients actually are. And the other thing is, if you don't tune into your imagination or start activating your imagination and your visualization, I mean, that visualization is a key tool for RTT therapists. I mean, the way we actually tell people and we actually visualize, and if we can't do that for ourselves, then there's almost like a bit of a block in, because that's something that we're selling. We're selling a 21-day transformational program based on our imagination. So it's a great way to get the rust out of our imagination and start visualizing. So imagination in a practice is absolutely key. And then the other thing you do to have success in your business is your emotions. If you're not in tune with your emotions, then it's like a relationship. If you don't invest in a relationship with a partner, then it's going to fall flat, you know. So with your business as well, you have to be connected emotionally. You have to be connected with your audience. How are you going to connect? What is your passion? What is it about you that makes you connect with an audience? I mean, for me, I know, as corny as it is sometimes, I connect with people through humor. But I think people kind of think and feel and understand that I've actually listened and I've sort of made them laugh a bit. But that's a way of me connecting. It might be for me a way of deflecting, but it's also a way that works. It's how I kind of connect with people. And, you know, people, without sounding arrogant, people do walk away with a smile in their faces. So, you know, you've got to find a way that you connect to people, because if you connect to people, you're going to leave a lasting impression. People are actually going to understand that you are passionate about something. And if you connect emotionally, you always show, I think you also always show authenticity. And it's if you connect, if you're passionate about your business, people will see that. They'll see the authenticity. They'll see that you're rocking up. They'll see that you're giving 100%, and they'll actually see that you're so passionate about your business, and that passion will translate into, this person is going to be really passionate about me. They're going to be passionate about helping me. They're going to be passionate about my problems. So I think passion is, I mean, it's got me into a lot of trouble, but it's also got me into great, fantastic things. And also, one of the things I showed you, those pictures, is if I didn't have the imagination to think what the end product would be, I probably wouldn't have been able to solve a lot of the problems. So I had to think already in what I've already achieved, how I'm going to solve problems. And if I wasn't passionate about stuff, like if I wasn't so passionate and close to the job, I wouldn't be in a warehouse on a Sunday checking what was going out of the door. And also the other thing you need to do is you need to trust your intuition, because your intuition won't let you down. And I think very often intuition comes on the back of doubt. And I think you definitely have to leave a space for it, because doubt will intimidate you. It'll make you feel overwhelmed. And I think you just have to trust your intuition, and you just have to breathe, and you have to give it space, and your intuition will tell you what you need to do on that day. And I think with business, you really need to tap into your intuition. Don't ignore it, and don't let other people override it. That's an incredibly important thing about your business. Trust your own intuition. And then the other thing that comes without saying is, if you have to have courage. You have to have courage, and you have to have the courage of your convictions. I mean, it's not an easy thing to decide you want to be an RTT therapist. It takes bucket loads of courage for us to do what it is that we're doing. We make ourselves absolutely, completely vulnerable. We sit in rooms with with trainers that listen to all our thoughts, our words, and our sounds. We've got practice groups that know our deepest, darkest secrets. So it's bucket loads of courage, and courage is what takes you. Courage is what's going to get you through when you go, I don't know if I can do this. I can't do this anymore. You can, and you have. You've already put so much courage and effort into actually just becoming a therapist. And I think we sometimes forget, because we don't go back to where we were before we graduated and before we qualified and go and say, shit, I remember how scared I absolutely was. I remember. So you have to lean on that courage. And if you don't have courage, find somebody who does. Pick up the phone. I mean, there's always somebody who's going to have a bucket more courage than you on that day, and lean into it. So those are the four things, what I call the four legs of my table. It's my imagination. It's the fact that I think I can do anything. It's my emotion. It's because I absolutely go in there with a passion, because I found a solution. I'm going to do it. Doesn't mean that's always, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that I've been fantastic and amazing and got every job right. But more often than not, these four legs of the table, my imagination, my emotion, my intuition, and trusting my intuition, and the courage to actually just go out there and do it. These are the things that I've leaned on very heavily in business. So now that you've had the courage to do your business and we're getting out there, these are just a couple of the facts that I thought that you guys, I think, found quite interesting. I'll share these slides with you afterwards. So 94% of internet traffic starts on Google. 54% of the world is on Facebook. 15% will buy immediately. And 35% will buy between 90 days and 2 years. Oh, not at all. That's a shocking spelling mistake. And 50% not at all. They'll just kind of like, they'll just cruise you. So the difference between a good business and a really great business is your ability to engage with your clients and your customers, and the ability to actually convert. Because if you don't convert, you don't have clients, and without clients you don't have a business, and then you don't have that transaction in that golden, in your golden, what do you call it, what I was saying, your pipeline. And I think what you've always got to consider, you've got to think of a business as a pipeline. There's a service, there's a product, and there's an end person, and you've continually got to be looking at your golden pipeline. How many people are on my waiting list? How many people do I need to target? How many people are moving from point A to point B? It's watching it and being aware of it all the time. And online marketing, it's always about visibility and consistency. So you've got to keep saying the same thing over and over, and it's not about saying the same old thing over and over and shoving it down people's throats, but you have to be consistent in how you present yourself and consistent in your visibility, because if you are, then that builds trust. And trust is one of the key things that's going to make people say, this person is going to help me move that product, which is actually their minds, to where I want to be. And the other thing about RTT is that what we can't ever underestimate is that we are going to people and we're saying to them, give me your mind. And I'm going to reprogram it and I'm going to give it back to you. I mean, and that's quite a big ask for us to be asking people. So if we are not rocking up emotionally, passionately, wanting really to help them, that we understand, and that we are presenting them with a really great business, they're not going to have that trust in you. They're not going to have that trust in you. And what I always say to people is, if you went for a job interview with yourself, would you come away going, shit, that's a great company. I really want to work for them. They had a fantastic webpage. They really knew what they were doing. They made me an offer which I quite like, and I really believe they're going places. If you walked away from yourself who was offering that kind of job, you would go, oh, actually, I wouldn't mind working there. And how many times you come away from a job interview going, shit, they didn't know what they were talking about. I couldn't find them on the webpage. They were offering me shit money. this guy interviewed me, and then that guy interviewed me, and they never got back to me. You would never, if you interviewed yourself at that place, you would never take the job. So it's you always have to make sure that you as a business are a business that you would want to employ yourself in. Okay. And one of the things that you need for your business is you need clients. You absolutely need clients. And what you need to start sort of visualizing is, who are your future perfect clients? Who is it that you're going to market your fantastic skills to? Oh shit, I missed this. I'm exhausted. So where do your expertise lie? I mean, for me, I often, in my head, I will, if somebody comes to me and they're an addict, I was about to say my expertise I've been in a drug addict, but that's really not the way I wanted to say. My expertise that I understand. I've been an addict, so I kind of, yeah, it's not something that you advertise, but I am a little bit, I do have some expertise in what it's like. So yeah, those are the kind of people that I relate to, that I could help with, because it's, if you have it, if you feel it, you have to use it. So you have to kind of, where does my expertise lie? We all came to RTT with a problem somewhere, something drew us to RTT. So there's experience of it, we feel it. So that is a future perfect client for us. Which tribe, who's your tribe? Who do you identify with? Who do you make the most sense when you're around, and who makes the most kind of sense to you? Because those are the sort of the people that you want to target. And then you need to start, what do your clients look like? Who are they? Because I think there's also out there's marketing where the people just they call it spray and pray. So they just take a whole lot of and they pray that something sticks. Okay, it's like standing there all day throwing mud at a wall, and you just hope that sometime at some point something's going to stick. At the end of the day, you're left with a filthy wall, and you're absolutely exhausted, and there is fuck all to see except crap and mess and mud in front of you. So if that's the way you want to be with your marketing, or try and be more defined. And the first thing is, who are my clients? What do they look like? And who do I want to market to? And then once you define your clients, it's how are you going to get them off their couch, walking to the laptop, and booking a call with you? Because that's quite a journey. And you as an RTT therapist have to be incredibly convincing that somebody actually goes, shit, I heard this person, they were amazing, and I'm actually going to do something about my life. Because if you don't have those kind of magical interactions and people don't see that emotion, then that lack of effort, it'll also break your business, and people will go somewhere else. So it's also finding your clients and finding a way to talk to them. There's a great book, I can't remember who it's written by. It's called The 5 Love Languages. And the way you relate to somebody is, so if somebody's love language is gifts, they will say that this person loves me very much because they give me gifts. And it doesn't mean they've been bratty or they've been spoiled or they've been whatever. That is their love language. Somebody else's love language will be that I just want somebody to spend time with me. So for that person, it doesn't help that you rock up, throw them a present, and you disappear 5 minutes later, because that's not their love language. Their love language is sit down on the couch, have a cup of tea, and talk to me. So when you have your RTT clients, you've also got to, who's my client and how do I talk to them? As I said, don't shout from the rooftops. You got to gently whisper in the right ears. Okay. So My future, I just as an example, my future perfect client would be addiction. And I would ask myself, passion, do I like them? Can I help them? And the third question is, will they pay me? Because if it's not yes to all three of those, then somewhere you're going to have a problem. Because if you don't have the passion, they're going to feel that and they're going to know that. If I don't have the courage of my conviction and believe that I can actually get results and I can help them, then they're going to feel that. And if I don't believe that they can afford for them to pay me, then there's going to be a problem from my side. So when you look at your future perfect clients, addicts, do I like them? Not all of them, but I kind of like them as people, because I've always said to you, I've yet to meet a stupid addict, and I've yet to meet all kinds of things, but they're interesting people. Do I have to marry them? No. But do I like them? Yes. Do I think I can help them? Definitely. Because I can also, with that, I have to have the courage of my convictions, and I have to be vulnerable then. So it goes back to, again, passion, emotion, and courage. So yes, that's definitely a future perfect client of mine, and they will pay me, because sometimes people in addiction, they'll pay anything to get out of it. And there's another one I gave as an example, imposter syndrome. Do I like them? Just talking third party now. Yeah, I probably would, because a lot of them would actually be like me, because every single job that I go into, I always think that I'm going to get fired from. Even with this museum, after the first week, I sit and I go, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't figure this out. What the hell are these people doing? And then they fucking employed me to fix it. Are they insane? And 3 days later, I go, oh, I don't know what I was thinking. I actually managed to figure that out. So do I like them? Yes, because they are screwed up and as cuckoo as I am. Results, can I help them? Yes, I can help them, because I can actually say, you know what, I get it. I understand what you mean. I understand what it's like going into something and going, I actually can't do this. I can't do this. What the hell possessed them to hire me? Well, what possessed them to hire you was something that they see in you that you need to just be able to re-see in yourself all the time. So yeah, I definitely think I could help them. And would they pay? Yeah, I believe they would pay, because I believe people who have imposter syndrome, a lot of them are in highly, they're qualified, they have a lot of self-doubt, but I definitely think that they could, they would pay anything to stay in the job that they think they're going to lose. And then there was one where I said crappy marriages. Passion. Do you like them? It would be kind of, and I'm not knocking anybody that's in a bad relationship. I think I would be far more passionate in other areas than in this, because for me, I would like, I think I've got other strengths. I mean, it's been a long time for me, and probably because it's been years and years and years since I've been in that. So I don't have day-to-day experience to draw from. I can be empathetic with people, and I can kind of say, I hear you and I understand you, but I think that there would be far people with more current experience and empathy that would be able to help them. So I would say I'd definitely like them as people, but I don't think that I would be the right fit for them. And would they pay me? I think realistically, when you're busy going through a bad marriage, you have all kinds of other financial commitments that you need to think of. And I've been there, like, how am I going to be able to afford my house? How do I pay the school fees? All those type of things. So, people that are battling in relationships, and it's a really difficult space to be in. What you don't want to do is go and say to somebody, well, I want you to pay a whole lot of money for a session, when those people probably just want compassion and empathy, and they don't necessarily want therapy, shoved down them. They want a different approach. And maybe when they've got through it and they've got over it, a session would be great, but they're not the kind of people I would want to pressurize and say, yeah, you definitely need help. Addicts, yes, get your shit together and book a session. Imposter syndrome, pull your finger out your ass, you are fantastic, and yes, I can help you with it. Crappy marriage, for me, maybe not. And that's just using a personal thing. And I think, so if we look at those, I was thinking, now that I've identified my future perfect clients, is you would have to look at their pain points. And the immediate pain points now is, what are their frustrations? What is driving them to actually even be considered as a client? And if they were an addict, for example, they would be incredibly unhappy. They would be struggling at their jobs. They would be sleep deprived. They'd be depressed. They would be probably beating themselves up about what the financial cost of drugs and alcohol are. So that would be an immediate feeling that they would have, an immediate pain point. And what they would like, what they could imagine, is that they'd want to be free from the addiction, at any cost. They'd love to have back the time and the money. Life without the addiction. They definitely would want to have that. Life without the problem. And they'd want to go back to who they were before drugs and alcohol. So I think those are definitely, in my mind, immediate pain points. And I think when you identify your future perfect client, you need to bring this back to and say, what are their pain points? What are their frustrations? What are their desires? Because that's where they are right now. And then what are the things that they are imagining, like further down the line? Are they going to lose their family? Are they going to lose their jobs? Are they going to lose their health? And addicts can I eventually get to a place where I'm not going to be hurting anymore? Is the pain eventually going to go away? So frustration is what they're feeling absolutely now. And the desires is what they're going to be feeling absolutely now. Fears, they start imagining those. Aspirations, that's where they want to be. But I think the main thing is that what you have to ask yourself about the clients you want to target is, what's keeping them up at night? And what are they actually Googling? Okay. So for us, it's all about finding Mr. and Mrs. Right. And it's all about what our niche market messaging is. And it's finding the right groups. Because we come out of RTT, and I think there's pros and cons about niching. My personal view is that when you're starting out, stay with what you feel and stay with what you can use. So for me, there's certain areas of pain that I think could make an impact in quite immediately, and that's where I'd like to go. And I think Marissa's great. Her marketing is fantastic. She churns out. How often does she go to Rushton? Twice a year? Mm-hmm. Twice a year? So that's 100 people just from Rushton that she is, and that's 100 people that are now your opposition. And we're all friends and we're whatever, but they're your opposition and they're your competition. And if you don't niche your marketing, you're going to get lost in 100 people that are going out to the world and saying, I'm an RTT hypnotherapist. There's going to be 100 of us coming out of Rushton this year. So if you don't niche your message and find the right group and narrow that funnel down, you're going to get lost in the sea of, I'm a therapist. I can do this. According to Marissa, we can do everything. But the world doesn't react very well to generalists. The world responds very, 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 very well to specialists. And I mean, that's in every single area of our thing. We have specialists for absolutely everything. And if Bill Gates comes on the Tonight Show and talks about something, we all sit up and listen, because it's Bill Gates and he's a specialist. I mean, for all we know, he could be an alien dressed in a weird suit and speaking shit. But, he's Bill Gates. We think he's amazing and we listen to him. I mean, Elon Musk is another one. He's a specialist and an experienced person in his field. So we listen to him. And I think it's really, really important that we start viewing ourselves as specialists You find your niche, you market to those people, and then you kind of can build on it. But I think right now being a specialist is what's going to cut through all of that. Because if you have 100 people and they're all just doing the same thing, and you have 10 groups of 10 who are just specializing, your capture and your entrapment, which is not a great word, is going to be so much. Because if you split off into 10 groups as opposed to competing with 99 other therapists, you're now in a specialized group of 10. And that's your odds are suddenly far more better than they are now. So the best for me is, I just gave a couple of examples of a group. If somebody was wanting help for menopause, they would be Googling chronic pain, lack of energy, sleep, changes in their bowel movement. Sorry, Eugene. Weight gain, anxiety, depression, because a lot of them say, they know they've got menopause, and they'll go, what are the symptoms? What are the causes? What are this? I've got night sweats. I'm feeling, I've put on a whole lot of weight. It's how people are talking to Google about their problems. And Google is just a problem solver. It's nothing else other than gives us answers to questions. That's all it does all day and every day, is gives us answers to questions. So when people go onto Google, you want to be an answer to one of their to somebody's question. Relationships. If somebody's in a bad relationship, they're going to have financial anxiety, they're going to have stress, they're going to have depression, they're going to have a trauma response to a really bad relationship. They're going to Google how to fix a broken relationship. So these are all keywords that people are going to pop in. People don't necessarily go, I'm in menopause. As I said, they know that. They're going to Google all the stuff around it. And here's another example. If somebody's got a physical problem, I mean, if they are diabetic, they're going to be stressed, they're going to be overwhelmed, lack of sleep, fear of needles, they'll be depressed. They're going to worry about scar tissues. These are all things that somebody with a physical problem might go and Google. So it's also, I think it's also for us is that we identify who our clients are, and then you try and get into the mind of your client and say, all right, if I was out there looking, if I was Liz and I was going there to go and find Liz, how would I market Liz? What would I say? What would I type in to find Liz? I'm Liz, the specialist, and I'm special. What are you specializing in, Liz? So I'll use myself. Okay, so I'm Alice, I'm the addict. And what would I be typing into Google to find somebody to help me? So for me, I go, okay, well, 12 years ago, what did I go and look for? And 12 years ago, what did I Google? I did Google, and I met somebody. And that's how I was Googling for. My house was an absolute disaster. I couldn't find anything, and everything was all over the show. So I Googled a home organizer. And then the fact that I Googled a home organizer, I thought, shit, I actually have to start organizing my own life, whatever. And then I went from there. And, you get therapists and you Google them. But initially, very seldom when people go into Google is that actually what they're looking for. Okay, so we connect with empathy, and then we connect with compassion. And compassion is where the emotional bond is made, and that's when they become your client. So I think it's very important that you connect with empathy, that your empathy is then surpassed by compassion, and compassion is where the emotional bond is made. So you've got to go through all of those steps with your client. And one of the most important things is that if you've identified your client group, because you feel them, you know them, you can help them. You can show passion, you can show enthusiasm and the courage of your convictions, because very often in these types of things, you're going to share something about yourself. You're going to go, I actually understand. It's that whole Me Too movement, which I think it's a pity, but that whole the Me Too movement is fantastic, because I think if you can sit with a client and go, you know what, Me Too, you actually then can form that bond with your client, and the client actually goes, okay, this is somebody I can trust to give my mind to. Because as I said to you, it's a huge ask in asking somebody to trust us with their minds and for us to be able to reprogram their mind for 21 days. And these are not good friends, and these are not family, these are clients. These are people out in the big wide world that we've attracted to us or who have found us, and they're desperate enough for our services. And I think it's really easy when you can seal the deal and you can say, I get you. I actually understand you. I can help you. And you need to be able to trust me. So you really need to find that connection. And that's also where your intuition comes in. It's your intuition of knowing how much to share, how much not to share. Because also I think as a therapist, we've also got to know who to trust and who not to trust. So it's building that rapport. Do I trust this future patient to actually bear my soul to them? And in turn, will they then bear their souls to me? And I think sometimes as therapists, you also like to call it and say, working with this person is not going to be good for me. And I think we need to be brave enough to say that, because we're always chasing, oh, I want this person, you know, I need clients, I want them to work with me. That's great. But you also need to be the one that has the want. I'm prepared to want to work with this person. So now that we've got, I don't know, has anybody got any questions or answers or want to interject or say anything? You're very quiet.
Just that it's brilliant so far, Alice. Amazing.
We're all on mute.
Really. This has been really,
You're
really
not alone.
impactful.
We're here with you, Alice. Thank you so much
Oh,
so far.
thank you. Thank you,
Alice.
Yeah, loving it, Alice. Loving it.
Yeah, brilliant, Alice. Thank you so much.
Okay, Wiggy.
Alice, I just have a quick question?
Sure.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's about a niche, because when I first
Yeah.
graduated and started
Yes.
looking into
Yeah.
business related stuff, I can the first thing, you know, I've never had a business, so I was pretty much clueless, maybe a little bit more now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
back then in June I literally didn't know much. And
Yeah.
and I did, the first thing that I came across was the target market, and
Yeah.
obviously what you were saying. So
Yeah.
I decided that my niche is actually going to be a client niche rather than RTT niche, because is this still considered a niche?
When you
to
say
have like a
client niche,
Yeah, so I just want to, so my business that I've in
Yeah.
my website and my
Yeah.
marketing is all aimed at mums, because I'm
Okay.
a mum. So I
Yeah.
want to attract mums, and I want to work with mum, you know, working mum and stay-at-home mum.
Yeah.
And so is this still considered a niche, or do you think that I should still have a niche to do with this target market? Because, you know, mums have got all sorts of issues. They have got imposter syndrome, and of course I did think about what is this that mums, you know, struggle with, and I have listed them, and on the basis of this I created my flyers and my websites. Is this an okay approach, you think, or should I still have a subject niche?
No, I think for in your situation, you've just hit the nail on the head, because your niche is mums. Okay. And why did you choose that niche? Are you struggling are you having these issues in your own life as being a mum, or why did you choose it?
I choose mums because I have 4 kids.
Okay, so there you go. So what you, as I said,
And I connect with pretty much the only people that I connect with are mums. So I know how they think, I know where they go, I know where they meet, and I know where I find them.
Okay, so your niche is mums. You understand them. You can be passionate with them, because I've got 4 kids. I'm tearing my hair out. How about you? You've got you're passionate, you've got your courage, you've got the emotional, you can connect with them on an emotional level. Your intuition, mother's instincts, you can actually, I think it's a perfect niche for you, because as I always say, if you feel it, you've got to use it. And then the thing about where I think that's great is that your mums also grow up, and they grow out of being mums, and then they have other problems. So for you, I think it's great. You start with your mums. Sad as it sounds, some of those mums are going to have second kids. Some of them are going to go back into the working world, and they're going to have imposter syndrome again. Some of them are going to have relationships that don't. Some of them are going to have a sick child. I mean, I think it's a fantastic niche, and it's actually one that you can relate to. And I think if you can go in with passion and authenticity, that is where you attract your clients. And I mean, for me, that wouldn't be a great niche for me, because I would say to mums, oh, my child's 29 and 25, they're still alive. I don't know how, but they weren't arrested. They didn't go to jail. So I think I did a pretty good job. But they've gone. So to get me to go back and relate to those kind of people, I don't, and I can't. And for me, pretending to be means that I'm actually not going to come across as an authentic person. And it's going to show up in how I speak to people, how I target people, how I'm passionate about what I talk about. I mean, for me, I'm incredibly passionate about people that go into business, like imposter syndrome, and get told that they can't, or tell themselves that they can't do the job. It's because I've done it to myself every single time. And my first week has been shocking, because all I've done is self-sabotage myself. So, and that's authentic. So if you can sit there with a mum and say, I understand you, I get you, I'm there with you, clients love that. I mean, the fact I think that you can say, I'm there with you, tick.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. So the next thing, I just put a brief slide together, is about you guys need to get digital savvy. And you're going to have 7 seconds. That's the average out there. 7 seconds when somebody hits your web page and then bounces off, and probably never to be seen again. How many times have you gone onto a search, like a web page or Facebook, and you haven't tagged it, and you've never been able to find it again?
Yeah,
Happens to me all the time. I think, shit, I saw that on a web page. Let me go and try and re-Google it. I'm sure I'm going to find it somewhere. I never see it again. I never find it again. It just gets lost in that whole sea of maze. So it's kind of 7 seconds, because otherwise it's you kind of gone. And so your website should never be static. You've got to engage with people all the time. You've got to have content that engages you people all the time. And we can, I think this is almost kind of a little something more on its own, is how you have your killer front page, how all your pages interlink with one another. Because it's great to have a web page, but if people can't go from your home page to booking a session, to finding out all about you, or just from a home page to booking a session, and your pages don't interlink and all feed back into a really good CRM system, it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be frustrating for people that land on your web page, and it's going to be frustrating for people that try and navigate your web page. So I think I'm more than happy to do just something on the architecture of your web page, and how people should be on it, because the power of SEO, which is search engine optimization, is what's going to get your web page. As I said to you, there's 100, just from Rushton alone, there are 100 of us that are going to go out there and launch to the world our web pages. And SEO is incredibly important. If you, at some point in your life, go onto Facebook and Google www. You can even look at it now on Facebook, www.karenfay.co.za.
What's her name again?
www.
Hold on. www.
Dot Karen
With a K.
Karen Fay, yeah, Karen Fay
How do you spell Fay?
FAY
Fay. Yeah.
.co.za.
.co.
.za.
.zx.
ZA. Sorry.
ZE. E.
ZA. A for apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine just says can't be found.
Yeah, can't find it.
On Facebook.
Oh,
No,
I've got to look at
Facebook.
it. Oh.
on Facebook.
Search it in Facebook. It's not, you won't find it on the web anymore because obviously the business doesn't exist, but it's still on Facebook because you can never get yourself off Facebook. Anyway, in your own time, Google, and when it pops up,
Karen Fay dot what? Sorry.
co.za.
CO.
But anyway, that's for later. Anyway, what will pop up will be a beautiful logo. There'll be a stunning, gorgeous model there, draped in all kinds of jewelry and finery. And that was a business I started because I had some spare time, and I was doing a lot of work in, let's call it the London. So I was traveling in and out of the city all the time, but I was living in hippie land. So in my wisdom, I thought, yeah, I deal with these people all day, every day, and I know that we call them black diamonds in South Africa. So they're a group of people that have come through and suddenly have a whole lot of money. So they were my clients, and they were they're just brand and bling. The bling, we used to also call them the bling brigade. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to sell jewelry to them. I sourced really high-end costume jewelry in China, and I imported it and I resold it. And I didn't do enough research. My target market, I thought I understood them, but I didn't even live in the same area as them. I flew there 2-3 times a week, but I didn't live there. So I didn't really network. I couldn't go to launches. I could do it, but it meant I actually had to spend a lot of time and effort and money in doing it. It wasn't like, Cape Town is very much more laid back. It's kind of a hippie city. And Johannesburg is where all the money is. So what possessed me? Sorry?
Sorry. Oops. Sorry. Meant to mute myself.
No. Yeah. So I was like, afterwards, I was like, what possessed me to start a business that actually didn't tick all the boxes. So it was the research I didn't do, and I also didn't understand SEO. I actually sat there and I thought, I've developed this brand, I've developed this product, I've got all this lovely stuff, I've paid for a beautiful fashion shoot, I've got everything. I launched the webpage, I clicked the button, and I sat back and I thought, okay, now the orders are just going to come in. I ended up selling the business to a woman who actually, she was an ex-Miss South Africa, and she supplied cosmetics into one of the big chains. And she landed up buying it from me, and I don't know, maybe made £10 out of the deal. But she bought it and she made a fortune with it because she had the target market, she had the sales channels, she had the look and the feel. She didn't have to pay for a model, and she took the business and she did really, really well with it. But that was where I just thought I was going to launch this business and the world was waiting for me. And I didn't have to do anything except just sit back and take the online orders like everybody else. The second time I tried it, I actually had a business in Cape Town, and we designed and sold furniture. So hippie products to hippies. Loved it. Absolutely loved it, because then I understood who I went. I thought, okay, this is the product I want to sell. Who am I going to sell it to? What does my advertising need to look like? What does my SEO need to look like? What does my web page need to look like? And how do I need to market myself socially? And that business was a huge success. But I just had a completely different thought process. The arrogance of thinking I had a business and the world was waiting for it didn't happen. Now the thing of saying, I have a business, I have an idea, and I want the world to know and understand and buy from me, very different thought pattern. And I think these are also the thought patterns we now have to put into RTT. So it's, who am I as a therapist? Who are my clients? Who can I relate to? Who am I going to be passionate about? Who can I be courageous with? Who's going to tickle my fancy in terms of imagination? And that's actually where we need to channel ourselves in that direction. So SEO, the different things like your site needs to be really quick, and you need to have great architecture with it and minimal broken links. So these are all things which are probably another conversation. Link building. If your site's got a lot of great content, other sites will link to it and they'll push you higher up in the rankings, because it's all about algorithms, it's all about artificial intelligence, and it's all about when somebody types a problem into Google, because that's what we do. We put problems into Google. Google probably needs a shitload of therapy too now. It's just where everybody dumps everything. What did Google it? What did Google it? What did Google it? And where you want to aim to be is that when somebody goes into Google, I can't sleep, I've got night sweats, pressure, I don't want to be, quiz, am I an addict? You want your site and your advertising, the way you're marketing yourself, you want to pop up on that front page.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm really not very knowledgeable about this at all.
Yeah.
So if someone Googles something, yeah,
Uh-huh.
and on your website you are talking about that subject,
Yeah.
will your website become obvious to that person? I don't know how it works. I really am novice, total novice. How does it link in? I don't understand it at all.
How does it link into what?
So when you're saying about, what people are putting in Google and what we have on our website,
Yeah.
if we've got some literature on our website that's linked into what they're typing in, what happens there? I don't know. Is that, what difference does that make?
It makes a huge difference to the way you design your web page and the way you set your web page, and you set your web page up, because what you want to do is you want to be one of the credible web pages. So you want to have a great ranking in your search engines.
But how do you get
so you actually optimize your, that's why I'm saying it'll be a whole, it's what your front page looks like, what the statement that attracts people, your the wording that you use on the website. So if for example I want somebody, okay, narcissists for example, and you're doing a niche and you're a narcissist, you need to be very specific about how you target, the keywords you use. So if somebody types in am I a narcissist, or what else would they type? If you were with a narcissist, what would you want to know? Just
well, probably I have Googled. I have Googled that before. So
okay. And what came up? Nothing.
Yeah, controlling behavior, that sort of thing, maybe.
Okay. So if you have a beautifully constructed web page that really works, and it's got all its links that are working, and it's easy for the algorithms to read it, there's a really good chance that your website will start popping up. And the more it pops up, the more it happens. And the more you work it, the more it happens. The more you Facebook it, the more it happens. The more you link to Instagram, the more it happens.
Right.
So it's all of your social media and all of your marketing, and it's just having a consistent message. It's just working.
I'm with you.
It's,
okay.
You've
So,
got
for
to
example, if I do something, I might do like ADHD, or my niche might be ADHD or binge eating, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, right. I'm with you. Thank you.
And a lot of the people that get to the top are obviously, it's paid advertising, and they spend a lot of money on it. And you're not going to get, if you're not spending paid advertising, you're not going to get to the front page in a week. It's going to take months and months and months. But don't be disheartened, because there's all kinds of other things. There's social media. And the other thing I think is that we're a great community, and I think everybody's got their web pages up and running. I know that we are opposition and friends, but we should actually be going onto each other's social media all the time and liking and whatever and doing all kinds of things, because that will help us, especially if you are in different niches. But it's really important, as I said, that you've got that your website is great and it's beautifully constructed. Even when you go into these free web pages, you can do a web page, but it's linking, it's how your pages link. So you've got your home page, you've got your about page, you've got your testimonial page, and you've got your calendar. How does somebody jump from your home page to booking an appointment with you if they just want to go through that? How's everything linked? So it's quite important that you set it up right, because the thing that, and I speak for myself, I don't have the patience. I don't have a patience for crappy websites. I really don't. I'm Googling something because I want information and I want to find it quite quickly. And if I can't find it on the website I'm looking for, I'll just move on to another one. It's as simple as that. And we're just so inundated that 7 seconds is what you've got for people to go, oh, here's Rachel. Narcissistic behavior. Oh, okay. What's she about? And they'll make headline decisions way before they make heartline decisions. And I do have something like that. So I go, oh, who's Rachel? What is her credibility? Okay, I see she's on social. And that's how people will move it through.
Thank you.
So so when you've done all your digital savvy and you're starting to get more and more technically aware, social media is a great tool, and it doesn't mean you have to rush off and have a web page. You can have a great Instagram account. You can be on LinkedIn. You can be Facebook. You can have a digital presence without having to rush off and do a web page. I always say to people, if you aren't ready for a web page, then don't do it. It's as simple as that. Be ready for your web page. Be ready to design a great web page. Understand how it works. Understand the architecture. I mean, you have to. For us, we're selling a service on our web page. If we don't have a great CRM system, which is your customer management system, your web page is going to fall flat, because when your practice gets busy and you're having people coming in, you've got somebody doing a discovery call who needs a follow-up email. You've got somebody who's booked who needs a follow-up email. You've got somebody that you need to remind to pay. They need their invoice. Then you need somebody who's going to book, you've got to get a recording out to them. So if you don't have a great system on your web page which manages all of that, somehow you will drop a ball eventually somewhere. So don't launch a web page out into the world unless you know that it's a product that you're proud of, and it's going to be 100%. It's going to be reflective of the type of practice that you're going to be running, because it is the window to the world. So if you're not ready, don't launch it. Don't be like you had a beautiful website launched to the world and fell flat like a pancake. So a lot of the stuff I can tell people, I can say, because I did it once and I did it absolutely completely wrong.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing your learning with us.
No, it was crap. And it's a beautiful, and you can't get rid of anything on Facebook. That's the other thing, Bill, is that if you Google Karen Faye, it's still there. I still get reminders. So if you put something onto Facebook, if you start a business on Facebook and it's awful, it stays there for the rest of your life. It doesn't come off Facebook. It doesn't.
It's scary though, isn't it? But you could reframe that, couldn't you? And say, for all the perfectionists out there.
Yeah, you could.
There you go.
You definitely could.
Doesn't have to be perfect.
No, it doesn't.
Oh dear. If it goes wrong, I think I might have to remember that one.
If it goes wrong, no, why is it going to? No, it's not going to go wrong. You're a fantastic therapist, and you've got your niche, and you know exactly who you're going to target. I mean, that's kind of, that's where we've got to be as therapists. I mean, who are we? What do we offer? And who our target is? It's the age-old There's a guy, Maslow, who does, it's the right product at the right time, at the right place, at the right price. And if you're that person, I mean, that is the way the entire world works. Right time, right price. And as therapists, we've got to be that as well. So here's just another looping action. Back to your future perfect client's pain points, right? And if you had to, this is like a you could do a 4-week. Because what are they Googling? So frustrations. Week 1, you do a post about, are you unhappy? Are you struggling at work? Can't sleep? Think of something catchy and in the way that you would market to them on week 1. Week 2, desire. So it's a little bit more upbeat. Free from addiction, as opposed to, are you struggling with no sleep? Free from addiction. Your week 3, are you about to lose your family? Are you worrying about losing your family? And then week 4, life without the problem, life without the pain. So you kind of sort of tempering it, you know, on social media. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Yes.
Question, Alice, for this sort of interactive changing stuff, how do you do that on a website? I mean, I get social media and everything, but how do you actually change it on your website every day? And I don't.
These were the things I'm talking to you now would be social media. So,
okay.
But if you've designed your website and you have control of your website, you can make changes to your website. But your website, you should actually be. You can have specials running on your website. You can have freebies running on your website. But if your architecture is actually working, then it's not necessary to change your architecture all day, every day. You can change your product. You can change pricing. You can do specials. But when you're doing social media, I would imagine my web page is not ready yet, and only because I haven't signed it off. And when I come from guitar 1, 2, but in the if I didn't have the project I was on right now, it's social media. So who do I want to target? Why do I want to target them? Why do I think that it would be a good match? So for me, what has always worked for me is having a 4-week cycle. So somebody's always going to be in week 1. They're going to be in that looping pain point of I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do with myself. Week 2, you tap into what do they want to achieve. Week 3, you go back and you tap into, if you don't pull your shit together, you are going to lose everything. And then week 4 is, I can help you with this. I really can. Because you're then tapping into their emotions as well. And what are they Googling again? What are they Googling?
Thank you.
Some people put blogs in their web page, don't they?
Yeah. Blogs are great. Blogs
So
are
that's
great.
why you're keeping it as well, a bit alive and changing a bit and
keep it alive. And if you've got great blogs and you're doing blogs, if you've got more than 600 words, I think it's 600 words. Google recognizes that and ranks those.
Blogs on your website.
Blogs on your website. And the thing is that while you're sitting here now, if you're not ready for a web page, you can write. You can do your blogs. You can write your blogs so that when you do launch your web page, you've got 3 blogs waiting. Blogs are great. Well written, well researched blogs are fantastic. Fantastic for your traffic.
Like right now, so
What?
I better go and research blogs.
It's like an essay. It's like you wrote an essay at school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you say about? Sorry.
Yeah.
No. Well, just coming back to the blog. So of course, yeah, it's like a almost like if you have an article in a magazine and you talk about certain things and you tell people about certain things. What did you say about the more than 600 words?
More than 600 words. So write your blog to be more than 600 words.
For a ranking blog, so for Google to find it and.
Yeah, for their ranking. And I have no idea why. 600 words. And I'd say the 600 words because I thought, okay, I look at a bit of time. I thought I'd find it here. I'm going to write a blog. And I was advised 600 words. It's amazing what Google will tell you. It's amazing.
absolutely is.
I just
I will be Googling that now. Before now, I
you
wouldn't
Google
know
it.
I wouldn't even know what to Google.
Google.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I'm digital. I've really got to get up to speed with the digital life.
get up to speed. Yeah.
So it looks like becoming a qualified therapist was the easy bit, huh, Alice?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think no, it's I was thinking about. I was sitting the last couple of days, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking that it's a hell of a challenge that we've kind of taken on. Because I think we did go out there and think, or for whatever reason, that we would become RTT therapists, and I think we all did it for various reasons. But I think, like everything is, you can have a great product, but if you don't know how to take your product to market, it's going to fall flat. So becoming a great product, which is what we have done, is not all of it. We've got a great product, and it's now how to take that product to market. I don't think necessarily one is easier than the other. I think what you also got to understand is taking your product to market is an everyday thing. You can't not do it. And I think working in your business, every day you're working in your business, you've got to be doing something that either makes you money or saves you money. And that's a business. So every day you got to be working on your business. If you had to go and work for somebody, and you sat behind and they were paying you a salary, they would say you need to come into work at 8:30 in the morning, and you need to leave work at, say, 4:30. But their expectation of you would be that you would be sitting at your desk in the boardroom or within their business, and you would be giving them full 8 hours a day of work. So why is it that you've now become a therapist? This is your job. Those are the kind of, if you're lucky, you can work mornings only, but you do have to devote a certain amount of hours to your job. It's your job. Sorry?
It's a very good point. I just feel like I felt the
job.
I needed
it's your
that.
job.
It's true.
Yeah, that's your job. So you have also, would you employ yourself? Would you go? If Rachel said come and have a job?
Because I'd pull myself up actually into the boardroom and say, look, why are you procrastinating and avoiding?
There you go. Yeah.
I think it's just a different challenge, because it's no one telling us, oh, you got to do this. You got to look at, actually self-assess yourself, say, what do I need to do first? What's the most important for me? And just chip at it little bit by little bit. And then you start doing something and you're like, oh, I could do that better. Like the next session, you just add something and you just add another thing. Maybe I send an email to prepare for the session, and then you change the email because you say, oh, you forgot something. And I think the more we do it and the more we chip at it, we're becoming better and better. I mean, realistically, no one starts something and be perfect at it. Like you got to do it, make mistakes and correct. And the trick, I think, is to start. I think the trick is to start.
The trick is to start. And the thing is that we've all got to start. As I say, you've all got to start somewhere. And I think we've all got to be brave enough to have the courage to actually go out there and tell the world that we are spectacular RTT hypnotherapists, because the world is not waiting for us, and the world's not just, they want us and they need us. But they're not particularly waiting for me, Alice Taylor, because there's 65, what did I say? There's 99 other therapists that qualified this year. So it's not Alice Taylor they're waiting for. There's 99 people in the queue in front of me who have got a head start on me. So it is about making sure that you market yourself correctly. And as you say, Roxanne, it's good. It's every time you do it slightly better, slightly different. And I think also in other companies, very often you go into a company and your niche in your company might be IT, and your niche in your company might have been marketing, and your niche in your company might have been graphic design. And now that we're starting businesses, we have to know and understand what all of those little niches are, because we are now marketing ourselves. So we need to start focusing on, my product is Rachel Harrison. What do I need to market Rachel Harrison? I need great IT, I need great marketing, and I need great graphic design. Those are all kind of things which we suddenly can't go, oh, well, the marketing department will sort it out for me, or give it to finance. Well, that's my favorite, give it to finance. It's not my fault you haven't been paid, it's finance. The design department didn't meet their deadlines. It's all coming back onto us now. And we've got to create a business that we would be proud to employ ourselves in. And one of the first things you look at and you say, this is a great company, there's potential for growth, they're stable, they've got a great web page, they've got a great presence, they really get their customers, their marketing spot on. Those are all of the kind of, these are the businesses that you would, I mean, Roxanne, you're a kite surfer, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're choosing your kite, your equipment and your boards and all the time and effort, you go and say, is this a great board? Has it met the healthy standard? Is it, et cetera, all of those things that you go through is exactly what people are going to go through when they're looking for a therapist.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I think for me personally, like obviously I graduated recently, but it's like so overwhelming, like you said, like in your presentation, it's like where to start, and I was like, I kind of give myself a bit of a kick in the bum, because I started to procrastinate a little bit, and like see myself as I had this, I was like, October, I want to start having paying client, right? So I need to, kind of move forward. And I was like, I've got no idea about website. I got no idea. I don't like social media, especially, and I see everyone. I think it's when you see everyone else doing, a masterclass, and everyone is doing, all these things. It's like, I haven't even started that. So where do I start? And you start comparing yourself, and you're like, okay, then stop doing this. And like I said, like I try to self-assess. Okay, I'm not there yet. But you see all the people on social media already way ahead of you. And I think like it's kind of a little bit scary, and you think, oh, why can't I do this? And so, hold on, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you got to do a few more things before being there, and because we haven't done these first steps of like chipping at it first. And I think for me personally, that's why I'm at. And I was like, right, I need to stop procrastinating. I've got to do little bit by little bit. And when I would do a masterclass, when I would do my website, I would be there, and I would be there, but like I'm not there yet. Do you know what I mean? And so anyway. It's so you are in a competitive sport, aren't you? I'm sorry?
Competitive sport.
Am I into sport?
You are in a competitive sport. You're a So how many people do you know in your expertise, or who do competitions, who struggle with big match temperament?
I do know people. That's kind of the niche I want to go to. Absolutely.
So our niches, it's kind of, so it's talking and gearing yourself towards those people, because they're the people that you understand. Those are the people that you'll get, and they're the people that understand you. So as Margot was saying, I mean, she really relates to kids. I mean, Margot would probably, with all due respects, somebody came to her and say, I freeze every time, what are they called? I freeze. I play tennis and I freeze. I lose the match. I've got no big match temperament. Someone like Margot, who's a mom, who specializes in all kinds of other things, would go, I don't know what to do. Whereas for you, that's an area that you can, I think, excel in, because you can actually imagine yourself being in that situation. Competing. What happens if I freeze? What happens if I suddenly don't have the confidence? What happens if I suddenly think I shouldn't be in this final? Am I crazy? I mean, this person, I'm ranked 10th. In whatever, this person's ranked number 1. Of course, they're going to wipe me out.
Absolutely. For me, definitely, like I feel, Rachel, when you say like websites and social media, like that's the overwhelming part for me, like setting it up to be good online, I think I'm in person. I can, like, if I meet someone tomorrow, and I'm sure I can be, yeah, cool, let's have a session, and let's do something together. But like that, the whole social media is like, whoa,
Yes.
where do I start?
It is very scary, isn't it? I don't even. I'm on Facebook, but
but it's different when you got to promote yourself, isn't it? Like, where you got to try to appear a certain way, so and professionally as well. Like, but definitely. But we will get there. We will get there. I believe in ourselves. Yeah.
Of course, you're going to get there. Of course, you're going to get there. You're RTT therapists. Where else are you going to go?
Online.
Exactly. And this is just when people come and visit you, the first time they're going to be mostly. So this is things that your webpage has to say about you. Who are you? First things I want to know is, who are you? Are you qualified? Can they afford you? Can you help me? They'll come into your webpage. They'll probably go off your webpage. They'll come back again, and is this right for me? Does this person have any social credit? Do I think they understand me? Are they going to like me? Do I like them? It'll be another visit. Visit 3 will be a bit of a heartline and a heartline. And they'll start thinking, well, does it work? Are there any guarantees? Are there side effects? How long does it take? When can I do it? And then they go on to, I can't handle it. Where it's just heartline, they've had a trigger, they've been to a party, something's happened, they've been maybe into a change room and they've been triggered by an incident, and then you can see I'm the dyslexic moron in this one. We know. Yeah.
It's fine, absolutely fine.
Yeah. So it's about understanding who your clients are, where to find them, when you find them, how you're going to talk to them and what you're going to say, and making sure that whatever advertising and social media and everything you're putting out there is consistent with who your clients are, what you're going to say, who you're going to say, how you're going to say. So don't it's the one time where I wouldn't brew a fruit salad. I would just try and be one long French green cucumber. Just be consistent and just have this whole looping thought that Marissa's taught us. This whole looping thought all the time. Now, I'm a great therapist. Who do I want to target? Who are my clients? Who can I be passionate about? Who can I be courageous with? And you just keep going and keep going and keep going. And consistency and clarity and trust and emotion and courage, you've just got to keep doing that all the time with your clients.
What are people's thoughts about putting prices on the website and things, or would you discuss that on the discovery call? What are people's thoughts there?
Okay, so when you do online shopping, Rachel, and you can't find a price,
does my head in.
Okay. But we're expecting I'm one for kind of transparency.
Yeah.
Because I want to know this is something I want to use, and can I afford it?
Yes.
I think when people have issues and problems and you're looking for a therapist, the last thing you want to be told is you can't afford something. And at the end of the day, affordability is not my responsibility for clients coming on. This is who I am, and this is my price. And what you don't want to do is travel a journey with somebody and then them tell you, I actually can't afford you. Because from the word go, if you're passionate as a therapist, from the word go, you're investing time and effort and energy and money into this person. So you want to know that they committed to the process, they know your value is, and you know what the price is going to be. Because the last thing, even from myself, is I want to be told, I never want to be told, not never, but I think it's, if somebody says you can't afford something, it's not the nicest place or space to be in.
No, it's not. It's I guess in my head, charging, like so many of us, it's a bit of a sticking point. I know a lot of people are struggling with that. In my head, I'm
charging
about sort of putting my price up the more experienced I become. I know not everyone does that, but it's about being authentic with myself. And then I think if it's going to be changing on your website a lot, then it's going to look a bit, I don't know.
Okay, so if somebody had to Google you today and they'd see that, just for arbitrary, and they'd see that Rachel's charging £100, okay, just for argument's sake, and they come back to you in a year's time and they see, geez, Rachel's now charging £200.
God,
I don't,
a bit more than that.
Or whatever. Okay, so whatever it is. So how many people do you think are going to take the time and trouble to pick up the phone and say, hey, Rachel, I Googled you a year ago and you were only £100. And is there a chance that you could honor that price for me?
I know.
How many people do you think are going to do that?
I've got a money block, I think. I've got to do some work within myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a thing called what I call it is the freedom matrix, is how do you define your price? What do you want your price to be? How do you get your price? And then how many sessions you actually need to do to actually be able to get your price? And I call it the freedom matrix. So it's, where is your freedom going to come from?
With you.
And I think rather, and that's part of your visualization and your imagination of what kind of practice you're going to have and what you're going to charge people. And I think you could rather have, this is Rachel Harrison, this is my price, but for the first 6 months I'm going to give a discount to ADHD patients. Because
I haven't got a lot of money.
No, or whatever. I mean, I always say to people, as if I keep saying this, but if you go into a job, okay, and somebody says to you, okay, so you leave a job and you're earning £2,000, all right? So you're earning £2,000. You then leave that job and you got another job and they only pay you £1,000. Okay, and you accept it. When you want to leave, people are going to say, well, what did you earn previously? And how to jump back from £1,000 to £2,000 is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. And I think the same thing needs to work with your pricing on your webpage. The way I approach it is put my price on my webpage and rather run things like the first 10 people, or this month, for the next 3 months, I'm running a special on ADHD, because that also will increase your traffic to your website and footprint to your website, and etc. It also gives you a great thing for social media. And I'm sure people are going to cheat. Not everybody's going to be ADHD. However, it's going to get traffic to your website. It's going to give you more confidence. It's going to build you as a therapist. And also the great thing about getting your clients to your webpage is your clients talk. And that's fantastic marketing in itself. Especially if they're the clients that you've resonated with. Yeah. So for me, it would be who my clients are, where am I going to find them, how am I going to market to them, what I'm going to charge them, and how am I going to connect with them. So you need to define your perfect future client and do 4 weeks of media posts directed at those clients. It's not homework for me. I just go and say, who am I going to target? Who's my client? How am I going to speak to them? What I'm going to say? I think that's it. I think I ran out of slides.
That's brilliant, Alice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alice. That was great.
That was great. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, wow, Alice. That's amazing, mate. I kind of want to tell myself now, but
why? Why do you want to kill yourself?
It's like, oh shit. Did one mountain, there's a bigger one. But yeah, we can do this. We've got Google.
Yeah, you would Google.
We've got Google, guys. We've got YouTube. We've got each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I actually, because I've got ADHD, I actually had a session with Tina. I just thought I'd share it with you guys. It might be helpful for you. And because I found I got diagnosed after I signed up for RTT, so then I had the whole kind of, oh my God, I've got that now. I can't do that. It was quite an identity thing. I've been going through that this year. It's been quite difficult. Good in some ways. Anyway, I couldn't get started, so I thought to myself, well, I'm going to pay for a session, because if I'm expecting people to pay me for a session, then I've got to be, this authentic self. And within my recording, which I don't always remember to listen to all the time because of the ADHD, I get very distracted and consistency is difficult for me. But within the recording, she says in there, focus on the things you're good at. Because I'm good at the rapport, I'm good at the engagement, connection, those sort of things. And hire an EA or a PA to do the things you're not so good at. And that is what I did. So I paid someone to do my logo. I've had it for ages and I haven't shared it with the group because I'm so embarrassed. I find it difficult to share things. Liz knows. Yeah, I'm honestly, I've got fear of being rejection or whatever it's going on. It's really embarrassing. It's a pain in the arse, actually. So I've got to just get over it, really. And also, like this lady who is going to help me with things like that. So what I'm trying to say is, obviously, it costs.
Yeah.
But if people out there know, Alice, you're really good at this sort of thing. But if people aren't so good at that sort of thing, there is another way. You can get some extra help. It is extra investment, but I see it as an investment in yourself and your business. It's not always doable financially, I know, but it's something to be mindful of, really. And I probably will have help with my website as well. I do want to learn about it.
Yeah.
I think I can't imagine ever getting it done. In all fairness.
But your website.
Yeah, honestly, myself, I honestly don't think I'd ever get it done. So, yeah. So don't be.
The thing is also
afraid to ask for help if anyone's struggling.
No, you'll be able to go to your I think you go to your webpage and say, this is what I want my architecture or my webpage to look at. This is Rachel. This is my niche. This is what I wanted to say. As opposed to just going and saying, I'm an RTT therapist and I treat everything and everybody. Because, we all come out of Rushton with the ability to treat quite a few people, whereas I think in reality, and I'm just personally speaking now, for me, my webpage, I don't want to talk to everybody about everything. I want to talk to less people more often about something where I feel I can add value in both ways. So when you're doing this and when you're doing your self-discovery of who your clients actually, your ADH clients, or who you relate to, you'll be able to go to your web guy and say, this is the language I want on my webpage. This is who I am. These are who my clients are. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm going to be courageous about. This is where I want to be. So, we all have jobs. We all have jobs because
I don't want to have just one niche, because I've got loads of personal experience, anxiety, depression, binge eating, the list is endless. But
the list. Yeah.
But I think it's really nice to have the niches, because even like talking today and hearing Roxanne about knowing that she's going to do the sports. So if anyone I was getting because I work in a physio, for example. So people in sports, I wouldn't feel, because one, I've got hang-ups about sports still from my childhood. And I've only just sort of started being a bit more braver in sports. So I would not be the person to help someone with sports. I'll be like, I'll be joining them, going, oh yeah, I know, I would be empowering them. So then it'd be nice to know. So then you can refer it on to your colleague
Yeah. Yeah.
The same with the mothers, like you. My son's 24. I can't relate to young mothers now because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've passed that, and it's changed. Life changes, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you're thinking, oh, I know someone who would be more
Yeah.
suited for that. So
There's also where the content of your web page is important, because how you write about, and it's not necessarily by having a skill set, it's when you write, it's pushing your skills forward.
yeah,
That's what it actually is, because we all have the ability to deal with everything since we've come out of Rush. And if it's in theory, if somebody comes with a problem, we have the tools to help them. But what we've got to do is also self-promotions. Put your best foot forward. Focus on what you're good at, and you make sure that that's in the forefront of everything. So when you do a web page, don't say I don't do eating disorder. I mean, for me, I'm petrified of those, because I mean addiction I'm happy to talk about, because I think I've come far enough down the line that I can say I've kind of got through that. Eating disorders, I'm still a mess. So, you know, I also think that treatment, you know, broken people choose, although we say that, for me, I think if you feel it, you should use it. But do it if you feel that you have the courage, where you have dealt with it enough yourself before you kind of try and tell other people to deal with it. So, for example, eating, I wouldn't want my web page to be full of eating, or in the forefront of eating disorders, because I would feel a little bit of a fraud trying to help people when I haven't been able to help myself yet. So I wouldn't. So the way I write my web page, I wouldn't want my content to be very eating disorder heavy. I don't want to discount it, but it's not what I want to come to the forefront of my webpage and my blogs and my content.
That's actually really valuable. I've actually been spending time doing the inner work. I mean, I've been doing inner work for ages, but I've been really doing sort of even more so for that exact reason. So I think it's important to be okay with the subject. I mean, I'd feel comfortable with binge eating, but I wouldn't feel comfortable with anorexia so much. But that's because I've worked for the NHS. I worked for eating disorders. I'm meeting my ex-boss actually on Thursday again. But I think sometimes I worked in mental health. It's what made it more difficult, because I've got fear. There's fear in me of working with certain clients, because they give you the fear. It's very fear driven.
Yeah, what stands for fear stands for everything and run.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it can be a bit like that there.
Yeah.
What is Liz? Forget everything.
Liz is laughing. What are you laughing about, Liz? Unmute yourself.
What are you laughing at?
Fuck everything and run. I love that.
Yeah. So I'd be scared. And because of that, I would be scared, because, you know, but I did work in acute though, perhaps.
I think the one thing I think we all have to remember is that our clients are far more scared than we are. They're the ones that are scared. They're far more scared than we are. And you must, for them to have picked up the phone and actually, or gone and made an appointment, whatever, they are absolutely petrified. They're petrified. That walk to, as Eugene said, that walk, anybody's had a session with Marissa, that walk across the chair onto the bar stool, or actually the fear in that for people of being vulnerable, of, you know, of being open, of being honest, of being, you know, coming to someone saying, I'm a real right mess. I honestly believe that our clients have every right to be far more fearful than we do about being a therapist. I really do. They're the ones who are scared shitless, and we shouldn't be the ones scared shitless. We should be the ones.
No, I don't think. I think just
standing firm.
I'm more scared of the anorexia because of the danger of the physical. You know, we were always, you know, we were made to be scared of the physical. You know, this person can die. You know, it was quite. We were scaremongered quite a lot. I've got a lady. Can I just bounce ideas off of you guys? I've got a lady coming on Friday. I'm not charging. It's somebody that I used to work with many years ago, and I'd promised her that when I that I would practice, you know, because she'd said to me, oh, I'll be your guinea pig, you know. Anyway, she's coming on Friday. She came, we did a discovery call, and she basically described OCD, but quite heavy OCD actually, and then really bad insomnia, and then admitted that she'd been taking this is recorded, isn't it? I don't know, I'm not going to mention anyone's name. I feel a bit funny talking about it.
Catherine can turn us off now.
Yeah, turn the recording off. Because I just feel, obviously no one knows the person, but I still feel a bit funny talking about it.